So this is the exact kind of requirement that Ron's team sees very early on into the process, where they know what kind of behaviors the system needs, but they've captured way too much in a single requirement. So this requirement says the smart doorbell shall store configuration settings and shall retain them in the event of a power loss and shall restore them on startup. Over on the right here, we have that familiar QVscribe breakdown. It's the same guidance that Ron's team has relied on for years to understand where clarity breaks down and where testability can suffer. So let's take a moment to walk through some of these alerts together. Right now, this requirement has a 1 out of 5, and some pretty important issues stand out to me immediately. The first thing is the issue of multiple imperatives. So we have several independent shall statements combined into this singular requirement. The next thing is cross-referencing pronouns. So we have two instances of the word them, and this introduces ambiguity about what is even being referenced here. We also see that there is EARS non-compliancy here. This is meant to be a ubiquitous requirement, but in its current state, it is not compliant. This here is exactly the type of thing that Ron's team encounters all the time. They understand, like I said, what the system needs to do, but by packing multiple behaviors into one requirement, they just end up making life harder for testers, reviewers, and downstream teams. Each behavior would require its own test case, yet the way the requirement's written, it prevents those behaviors from being independently verified. One thing you'll also notice on the screen here is that QVscribe highlights words like configuration settings, power loss, and startup as glossary terms. So this helps Ron's team stay aligned on the terminology as they refine the wording. So let's take a look at the suggest rewrite and see what ReqWriter suggests to see how it will untangle this requirement. That was pretty quick, not to brag, but we see three much clearer 5 out of 5 requirements here. We have the smart doorbell shall store configuration settings. The smart doorbell shall retain configuration settings in the event of a power loss. And the smart doorbell shall restore configuration settings on startup. So now we can see that each requirement has a single testable imperative. Each behavior is now isolated, so now verification is much easier and straightforward. That cross-referencing pronoun them has been removed, so ambiguity has been eliminated here. But importantly, the intent is preserved. The structure just now supports independent implementation and testing. Like I said, that original meaning hasn't changed. We've taken that and improved on it. The system still needs to store, retain, and restore the configuration settings, but the requirements are now just easier to read, review, and validate. And just like Ron's team really appreciates, this right-hand panel still shows the rationale behind the rewrite. If you open up these different alerts, you can always learn more to get more information about this particular problem type and why the original scored so poorly and how each fix improves the quality. Nothing is hidden and nothing is treated like a black box. From here, the author has a couple of options. They can either copy all of these requirements, so you take all 3 of them. You can copy part of it, so by clicking this button here, you copy just that singular requirement. You can make further edits up here in the authoring view and maybe regenerate an example. Or you can decline the suggestion and suggest a brand new rewrite. It's important here that ReqWriter only suggests. You stay completely in control for what you want to do next.